HP UX is Hewlett-Packard Enterprise's proprietary implementation of the Unix operating system, based on Unix System V and first released in 1984. Recent versions support the HP 9000 series of computer systems, based on the PAR-RISC processor architecture, and HP Integrity systems, based on Intel's Itanium architecture. Earlier versions of HP UX supported the HP Integral PC and HP 9000 series 200, 300, and 400 computer systems based on the Motorola 68000 series of processors, as well as the HP 9000 series 500 computers based on HP's proprietary Focus processor architecture. HP UX was the first Unix to offer access control lists for file access permissions as an alternative to the standard Unix permissions system. HP UX was also among the first Unix systems to include a built-in logical volume manager. HP has had a long partnership with Veritas Software, and uses VXFS as the primary file system. It is one of 5 commercial operating systems that have versions certified to the Open Group's Unix 03 standard. Characteristics: HP UX 11i offers a common root disk for its clustered file system. HP Service Guard is the cluster solution for HP UX. HP Global Workload Management adjusts workloads to optimize performance, and integrates with Instant Capacity on Demand, so installed resources can be paid for in 30-minute increments as needed for peak workload demands. HP UX offers operating system-level virtualization features such as hardware partitions, isolated OS virtual partitions on cell-based servers, and HP virtual machines on all Integrity servers. HP VMs support guests running on HP UX 11i v3 hosts. Guests can run Linux, Windows, OpenEVMs 8.4 or HP UX. HP supports online VM guest migration, where encryption can secure the guest contents during migration. HP UX 11i v3 scales as follows: 256 processor cores, 8 TB main memory, 32 TB maximum file system, 16 TB maximum file size, 100 million ZB storage. Security: the 11i v2 release introduced kernel-based intrusion detection, strong random number generation, stack buffer overflow protection, security partitioning, role-based access management, and various open-source security tools. Context-dependent files. Release 6X introduced the context-dependent files feature, a method of allowing a file server to serve different configurations and binaries to different client machines in a heterogeneous environment. A directory containing such files had its SUID bit set and was made hidden from both ordinary and root processes under normal use. Such a scheme was sometimes exploited by intruders to hide malicious programs or data. CDFs and the CDF file system were dropped with Release 10.0. Supported hardware platforms. HP UX operating systems supports a variety of PAR-RISC systems. The 11.0 added support for Integrity-based servers for the transition from PAR-RISC to Itanium. HP UX 11i v1.5 is the first version that supported Itanium. On the introduction of HP UX 11i v2, the operating system supported both of these architectures. BL Series HP UX 11i supports HP Integrity servers of HP BL Server Blade family. These servers use the Intel Itanium architecture. CX Series HP UX 11i v2 and 11i v3 support HP's CX Series servers. CX stands for carrier grade and is used mainly for telco industry with 48 VDC support and is NEBS certified. Both of these systems contain Itanium MAD6N processors and are discontinued. RX Series HP UX supports HP's RX series of servers. Release history. Prior to the release of HPUX version 11.11, HP used a decimal version numbering scheme, with the first number giving the major release and the number following the decimal showing the minor release. With 11.11, HP made a marketing decision to name their release as 11i followed by a V for the version. The I was intended to indicate the OS is Internet-enabled, but the effective result was a dual-version numbering scheme. Versions 1.0 support for the HP Integral PC. The kernel runs from ROM, other commands are disk-based. 2.0 first release for HP 9000 Series 800. There may have been a different, previously released 2x version for the Series 200. 3x HP 9000 Series 600 and 800ths only. Note: 2x, 3x were developed in parallel with 5x, 6x. So, for example, 3x was really contemporary with 6x. The two lines were united at HPUX 7x. 5.0 updated and renamed HPUX 1.0 for the HP Integral PC. Supported Series 200, 300 and 500. 6x support for HP 9000 Series 300 only. Introduced sockets from $4.30. This version also introduced the above-discussed context-dependent files, which were removed in Release 10 because of their security risks. 7x support for HP 9000 Series 300 and 400ths, 600 and 700ths, 800 HP systems. Provided OSF motif. 8x support for HP 9000 Series 300 and 400,000 600ths, 700 and 800ths systems. Shared libraries introduced. 9 by 9.00, 9.02, 9.04, 9.01, 9.03, 9.05, 9.07, 9.08, 9.09, 9.09 plus 9.10. These provided support for the HP 9000 Series 300, 700 and 800 systems. Introduced SAM. The Logical Volume Manager was presented in 9.00 for the Series 800. 10.0 This major release saw a convergence of the operating system between the HP 9000 Series 700 and Series 800 systems, dropping support for previous lines. There was also a significant change in the layout in the system files and directories based on the AT&T Unix System V Release 4 standard. Applications were removed from USR and moved under opt. Startup configuration files were placed under etc. rc.config.d. Users were moved to home from users. Software for HPUX was now packaged, shipped, installed, and removed via the software distributor tools. LVM was also made available for Series 700. 10.20 This release included support for 64-bit par RISC 2.0 processors. Pluggable authentication modules were introduced for use within CDE. The root file system could be configured to use the Veritas file system. For legacy as well as technical reasons, the file system used for the boot kernel remained high-performance file system until version 11.23. 10.20 also supported 32-bit user and group identifiers. The prior limit was 60,000, or 16-bit. This and earlier releases of HPUX are now effectively obsolete, and support by HP ended on June 30, 2003. 10.24 This is a Virtual Vault release of HPUX, providing enhanced security features. Virtual Vault is a compartmentalized operating system in which each file is assigned a compartment, and processes only have access to files in the appropriate compartment, and unlike most other Unix systems, the superuser does not have complete access to the system without following correct procedures. 10.30. This was primarily a developer release with various incremental enhancements. It provided the first support for kernel threads, with a one-to-one thread model. 11.00. The first HPUX release to also support 64-bit addressing. It could still run 32-bit applications on a 64-bit system. It supported symmetric multiprocessing, fiber channel, and NFS-PV3. It also included tools and documentation to convert 32-bit code to 64-bit. 11.04. Virtual Vault release. 11.10. This was a limited release to support the HP 9000 V250OSCA and V260OSCA servers. It also added JFS 3.3, AutoFS, a new FTPD, and support for up to 128 CPUs. It was not available separately. 11.11. Also known as 11i, this release of HPUX introduced the concept of operating environments. It was released in December 2000. These are bundled groups of layered applications intended for use with a general category of usage. The available types were the mission-critical, enterprise, internet, technical computing, and minimal technical OEs. The main enhancements with this release were support for hard partitions, gigabit Ethernet, NFS over TCP/IP, loadable kernel modules, dynamic kernel tunable parameters, kernel event notifications, and protected stacks. 11.20. Also known as 11i v1.5, this release of HPUX was the first to support the new line of Itanium-based systems. It was not intended for mission-critical computing environments and did not support HP's Service Guard cluster software. It provided support for running par-RISC-compiled applications on Itanium systems, and for Veritas Volume Manager 3.1. 11.22. An incremental release of the Itanium version of HPUX. It was designated 11i v1.6. This version achieved 64-way scalability, (M)n threads, added more dynamic kernel tunable parameters, and supported HP's Logical Volume Manager on Itanium. It was built from the 11i v1 source code stream. 11.23. The original release of this version was in September 2003 to support the Itanium-based systems. This version is also identified as 11i v2. In September 2004, the OS was updated to provide support for both Itanium and par-RISC systems. Besides running on Itanium systems, this release includes support for CC/NUMA, web-based kernel and device configuration, IPv6, and stronger random number generation. 11.31. This release is also identified as HPUX 11i v3. This release supports both par-RISC and Itanium. It was released on February 15, 2007. Major new features include native multipathing support, a unified file cache, NFS v4, Veritas cluster Fs, multi-volume VXFS, and integrated virtualization. Hyperthreading is supported on Itanium systems with Montecito and Tukwila processors. HPUX 11i v3 conforms to the Open Group's Unix 03 standard. Updates for 11i v3 have been released every 6 months, with the latest being Update 14, released in March 2015. HP has moved to a cadence of one major HPUX operating system update per year. 11i v3 updates. Update 14. New features, products, Java 8.0.00 in 10 GB 05, HPUX 11i operating environments. HP bundles HPUX 11i with programs in packages they call operating environments. The following lists the currently available HPUX 11i v3 OEs. HPUX 11i v3 base OE includes the full HPUX 11i operating system plus file system and partitioning software and applications for web serving, system management and security. BO includes all the software formerly Info and TCOE, plus software formerly sold standalone. HPUX11 IV3 Virtualization Server OE includes everything in BO plus Glance plus performance analysis and software mirroring, and all virtual server environment software, which includes virtual partitions, virtual machines, workload management, capacity advisor and applications. VSEOE includes all the software formerly in EOE, plus additional virtualization software. HPUX11 IV3 High Availability OE includes everything in BO plus HP Service Guard clustering software for system failover and tools to manage clusters, as well as Glance plus performance analysis and software mirroring applications. HPUX11 IV3 Data Center OE includes everything in one package, combining the HPUX11i operating system with virtualization. Everything in the HA-OE and VSEOE is in the DCOE. Solutions for wide area disaster recovery and the compiler bundle are sold separately. HPUX11 IV2 HP dropped support for V2 in December 2010. Currently available HPUX11 IV2 OEs include HPUX11 IV2 Foundation OE designed for web servers, content servers and front-end servers. This OE includes applications such as HPUX Web Server Suite, Java, and Mozilla Application Suite. This OE is bundled as HPUX11 IFO. HPUX11 IV2 Enterprise OE designed for database application servers and logic servers. This OE contains the HPUX11 IV2 Foundation OE bundles and additional applications such as Glance plus packed to enable an enterprise-level server. This OE is bundled as HPUX11 IEOE. HPUX11 IV2 Mission Critical OE designed for the large, powerful back-end application servers and database servers that access customer files and handle transaction processing. This OE contains the Enterprise OE bundles, plus applications such as MC, Service Guard and Workload Manager to enable a mission-critical server. This OE is bundled as HPUX11 IMCOE. HPUX11 IV2 Minimal Technical OE designed for workstations running HPUX11 IV2. This OE includes the Mozilla Application Suite, Perl, VXVM, and Judy applications, plus the OpenGL Graphics Developers Kit. This OE is bundled as HPUX11 IMTOE. HPUX11 IV2 Technical Computing OE designed for both compute-intensive workstation and server applications. This OE contains the MTOE bundles plus extensive graphics applications, MPI and math libraries. This OE is bundled as HPUX11 ITCOE. HPUX11 IV1 according to HP's roadmap, was sold through December 2009, with continued support for V1 at least until December 2015. See also HPUX Process Resource Manager software.